Jay Sri Radheshyam. Welcome. Today is the holy appearance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. 5,000 or over 5,000 years ago, this incredible information text is manifest to the humankind. Before the 5,000 years ago, when Krishna in Kurukshetra explained the Bhagavad Gita was chanted 120 million years ago. Today we will study the Bhagavad Gita, read and comment some interesting topics about Bhagavad Gita that I am pretty sure that all of you will enjoy very much. The first area of the Bhagavad Gita, Vishat Yoga, capítulo 1, chapter 1, is Arjuna asking to Krishna to see the full Kurukshetra battlefield. And there, in Kurukshetra, Arjuna can see all the family members, friends, masters, uncles, etc. So Arjuna start feeling that this war was not good at all due to the need of fighting the loved ones. Because this, he said to Arjuna that he does not want to fight actually this war, but he feels like he wants to quit. And Krishna is explaining clearly in the chapter 1 that the real meaning of being a Kshatriya is to engage in this war when it's a war related to Dharma, but not to avoid the Dharma. Sadly, Arjuna was under the spell of fear, and he is not willing to fight. But Krishna explained in the chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya has different meanings, but Sankhya basically is analytic, knowledge, intelligence, and Sankhya also means counting. So Sankhya Yoga is the yoga, the connection, the spiritual connection through intelligence, analytical connection, to understand what is what, to be able to try to get the information through the analysis of the situation. So this was what Krishna shows in this and explained in the chapter 2, that in my opinion and in the opinion of many experts, the chapter 2 is some kind of resume or sutra of the full Bhagavad Gita, the 18th chapter, 700 verses. Some say that 701 verse, 700 verses at all resume in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga. So in this area, we will study then this Sankhya Yoga, the chapter 2, that is very, very interesting. And we will see some interesting details here regarding to this episode of Bhagavad Gita part 2. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Sri Bhagavad Gita Jayanti ki Jai. Namaste Gurudevaya, Sarva Siddhi Pradayine, Sarva Mahagala Rupaya, Sarvananda Vidyayine. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Sanjaya dijo, Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna overwhelmed with pity, his mind grief-stricken and his eyes full of tears, Sri Krishna spoke the following words. 2. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjuna, how has this delusion overcome you in this hour of peril? It is not benefiting an honorable person. It leads not to the highest abode, but to disgrace. 3. O part, it does not befit you to yield to the unmanliness. Give up such a petty weakness of heart and arise, O vanquisher of enemies. 4. Arjuna said, O Madhusudan, how can I shoot arrows in battle on men like Bhishma and Dronacharya, who are worthy of my worship, O destroyer of enemies? When Arjuna said, O refers to Krishna with the name of destroyer of the enemies, Arjuna is asking to Krishna to please destroy the enemy of avidya, ignorance, from my heart. So this, all the lines of Bhagavad Gita are full of esoteric meanings, and this is one of the interesting part of studying Bhagavad Gita, is to truly understand what is going on. Because Bhagavad Gita is a philosophy, is a philosophical book that concerns to all the philosophical areas existing and to be exist in the future. In the 2.5 reads, it would be better to live in this world by begging than to enjoy life by killing those noble elders who are my teachers. If we kill them, the wealth and pleasures we enjoy will be tainted with blood. 6. We do not even know which result of this war is preferable for us, conquering them or being conquered by them. Even after killing them, we will not desire to live. Yet they have taken the side of the sons of Dhritarashtra, and now stand before us on the battlefield. 7. I am confused about my duty, and I am beside with anxiety and faint-heartedness. I am your disciple. I am surrendered to you. Please instruct me for certain what is best for me. In this moment, Arjuna is totally lost in his mind. His consciousness is lost. And Arjuna is asking, O destroyer of enemies, the enemy of the ignorance. The enemy is the ignorance. And Arjuna is asking exactly that. Destroy this enemy. And tell me, instruct me for certain what is best for me, he said. 8. I can find no means of driving away this anguish that is drying up my senses, even if I win a prosperous and unrevealed kingdom on the earth or gain sovereignty like the celestial gods. I will be unable to dispel this grief. 9. Sanjaya said, having thus spoken, 𝐏𝐥𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐿, the chastiser of enemies, addressed Hrishikesh, Govind, I shall not fight, and become silent. 10. O Dhritarashtra, thereafter, in the midst of both the armies, Sri Krishna smilingly spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. 11. The Supreme Lord said, while you spoke words of wisdom, you are mourning for that which is not worthy of grief. The wise laments neither for the living nor for the dead. 12. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. 13. Just as the embodied soul continuously passed from childhood to youth to old age, similarly, at the time of death, the soul passes into another body. The wise are not deluded by this. 14. O son of Kunti, the contact between the senses and the sense objects gives rise to fleeting perceptions of happiness and distress. These are non-permanent and come and go like the winter and summer seasons. O descendant of Bharat, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. 15. O Arjuna, noblest among men, the person who is not affected by happiness and distress and remains steady in both become eligible for liberation. 16. Of the transient there is no endurance, and of the eternal there is no cessation. This has barely been observed and concluded by the seers of the truth after studying the nature of both. That which pervades the entire body, know it to be indestructible. No one can cause the destruction of the imperishable soul. In this area, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna the nature of the soul. The soul is something that we cannot destroy. It's not possible to destroy. It's not possible to cut. It's not possible to create anything that is against. So for us, these instructions is also extremely important to understand the true nature of ourself. (18) Only the material body is perishable. The embodied soul within is indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharat. Neither of them is in knowledge. The one who thinks the soul can slay, and the one who thinks the soul can be slain. For truly, the soul neither kills, nor can it be killed. 20. The soul is neither born, nor does it ever die, nor having once existed, does it ever cease to be. The soul is without birth, eternal, immortal, and ageless. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. 21. O Partha, how can one who knows the soul to be imperishable, eternal, unborn, and immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? 22. As a person cheats worn-out garments and wears new ones, likewise, at the time of death, the soul casts off its worn-out body and enters a new one. Krishna is explaining that we live eternal lives around samsara. We take new bodies. We live other bodies. But in the very deep understanding of reincarnation, is a conclusive idea that indeed we never born and never die. because we as Atman, not Jiva, as Atman, were eternal. I have been doing some readings on Avadhuta Gita, also interesting book that is speaking about the true nature of soul of Atman. And the true nature is we are never born and never die. And Krishna step by step will also disclose this very big information. We must never identify with our physical body, external body, created of 5 elements, trigunas. We should always identify, or to try through our practice, to identify ourselves with our eternal self, with our eternal body. There is not such a thing as embodiment. The soul cannot be contaminated. The soul cannot be put in under any spell that is against its own nature. We are eternal creatures, eternal beings. And all what is happening with Mahamaya, all the external world, illusion, avidya, ignorance, everything is only happening on top of the skin, but it's never happening in the Atman. The Atman cannot be contaminated. The Atman cannot live in ignorance. The Atman is eternal. So is the nature of the divinity. "14. O son of Kunti, the contact between the senses and the objects give rise to fleeting perception of happiness and distress." The contact between the senses, here Bhagavad Gita 2.14, are the senses and the mind who are perceiving all this. But it's not true, since it's not transcendental. We should focus in the transcendental area, not the superficial area, not the changing area, because that will always change. We put our attention there and the next day is a total different story, a total different thing. This world is like this, tomorrow is different, 10 years ago was different, 100 years ago was different, 1,000 years ago was different. Everything is changing constantly, and to put ourselves into that point of view is a total foolish point of view, because everything is changing. Just as all the mistake of science, they say one thing, in 10 years they say another thing about the same phenomenon. And later on they will say another thing, because they are counting on the matter, the things, the ground, the material things as the proof pramana of their theories. What does it mean? That that body will change and the laws will change, everything will change. And what happened with this? That the theory must to be built up again. So there is no pramana, there is no truth, there is no tattva. It's not transcendental. The only transcendental is all what is far from the illusional world. We should focus only on that. There must be our heart, our soul. That's why we surrender ourselves as Atman. We surrender ourselves to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, because Radha and Krishna are eternal. Otherwise, what we can do? Honestly, what we can do? What will be the point otherwise? To do anything that we will lose. Anything that has not true meaning. somehow is absolutely foolish, right? 20. Chapter 2:20. The soul is neither born, nor does it ever die, nor having one existed, does it ever cease to be. The soul is without birth, eternal, immortal, and ageless. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. Swayam Bhagavan is telling here, Krishna is saying in the 2:20 that the soul is eternal, does not born, does not die. And that is ourselves. So as far as we are identified as dying and getting birth, rebirth, etc., we are identify ourselves in terms of our physical body. But we are not that. The reality is I am Atman. I am Brahman. Yeah? I am eternal, eternal conscious. Verse 26. If whoever you think that the self is subject to constant birth and death, O mighty arm Arjuna, even then you should not grieve like this. 27. Death is certain for one who has been born, and rebirth is inevitable for one who has died. Therefore you should not lament over the inevitable. This is crystal clear, right? Ocean of Bharat, all created beings are unmanifest before birth, manifest in life, and again unmanifest on death. So why grieve? And here in the 2:28 came an interesting question that, so while we are unmanifest where we are, some can say in the Mahavishnu, when the universal destruction goes everything inside Mahavishnu, is this the Brahman? Others can say. However, before birth and after life, the being is still there. Nothing changed. 29. Some see the soul as amazing. Some describe it as amazing. And some hear of the soul as amazing, while others, even on hearing, cannot understand it at all. O Arjun, the soul that dwells within the body is immortal. Therefore, you should not mourn for anyone. 31. Besides, considering your duty as a warrior, you should not waver. Indeed, for a warrior, there is no better engagement than fighting for upholding of Dharma. Right. 32. O Parth, happy are the warriors to whom such opportunities to defeat righteousness come unsought, opening for them the stairway to the celestial abode. 33. If whoever you refuse to fight this righteous war, abandoning your social duty and reputation, you will certainly incur sin. 34. People will speak of you as a coward and a deserter. For a respectable person, infamy is worse than death. 35. The great generals who hold you in high esteem will think that you fled from the battlefield out of fear, and thus will lose their respect for you. 36. Your enemies will defame and humiliate you with unclean words, despairing your might. Alas, what could be more painful than that? 37. If you fight, you will either be slain on the battlefield and go to the celestial abodes, or you will gain victory and enjoy the kingdom on earth. Therefore, arise with determination. O son of Kunti, and be prepared to fight. 38. Fight for the sake of duty, treating alike happiness and distress, loss and gain, victory and defeat. Fulfill your responsibility in this way. You will never incur sin. This is what Krishna will explain later on in Karma Yoga area of Bhagavad Gita. Act and do because this is what you have to do, but no attachment to the result, good, bad, friends, enemies. Does not matter because all of that is part of the big illusion. And in the end, who truly enjoys the results, the fruit of our action, is Krishna, because he is the Mahapurush, the supreme enjoyer. 39. I have explained to you Sankhya Yoga, or analytic knowledge regarding the nature of the soul. Now listen, O Partha, as I reveal Buddhi Yoga, or the yoga of intellect. When you work with such understanding, you will be freed from the bondage of karma. 40. Working in this state of consciousness, there is no loss or adverse result, and even a little effort saves one from great danger. 41. O descendant of the Kurus, the intellect of those who are on this path is resolute, and their aim is one point. But the intellect of those who are irresolute is many-branched. 42 and 43. Those with limited understanding get attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas, which advocate ostentatious rituals for elevation to the celestial abode, and presume no higher principle in described in them. They glorify only those portions of the Vedas that please their senses, and perform pompous ritualistic ceremonies for attaining high birth, opulence, and sensual enjoyment, and elevation to the heavenly planets. 44. With their minds deeply attached to worldly pleasures and their intellects bewildered by such things, they are unable to possess the resolute determination for success on the path of God. 45. The Vedas deal with the three modes of material nature, O Arjuna. Rise above the three modes to a state of pure spiritual consciousness, freeing yourself from dualities, eternally fixed in truth and without concern for material gain and safety. Be situated in the self. 46. Whatever purpose is served by a small well of water is naturally served in all respects by a large lake. Similarly, one who realizes the absolute truth also fulfills the purpose of the Vedas. _47. You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself to be a cause of the results of your activities, not be attached to inaction. Here Krishna is explaining something so deeply esoterical, because this is exactly the way of acting of the Braj Gopis. They are acting for the pleasure of Radha and Shyam. Nothing on them, nothing for them. Everything is for Radha and Krishna. Even in the Braj Lila we see when Krishna plays the flute, what happened with the Braj Gopis. They left anything they are doing to anyone, and they ran to the lotus feet of Krishna. So here is explaining the very basis of spiritualism is this. You are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the result of your activities. How important is this verse? How interesting is this verse? If we think, never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities. So, your activities will give a result. Is this result created by you? No. Is this result something that you must suffer or enjoy? No. Everything is continuously happening. Just like this. Is everything happening? This verse is truly amazing. Huh? Very wonderful information. Does not matter what we do or what we don't. Nothing belongs to us. And in some way, these are very good news. Because anything we have, anything we enjoy, anything we do, it creates karma. And this karma, we must pay for the karma. And this attach us, put us together with some samsara that is the root of the senseless incarnations. Death, incarnate, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. Eternally nonsense. So in order to go out of this hall of illusions, we must truly understand this. Bhagavad Gita 2:47. You have the right to perform, so do your duties, but you are not entitled to the fruit of your action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the result of your activities, nor be attached to inaction. Just do. Just do what you have to do. That's it. 2:48. Be steadfast in the performance of your duty, O Arjuna, abandoning attachment to success and failure such as equanimity is called yoga. Abandoning attachment to success and failure, such equanimity is called yoga. So when we are in the middle path, in the central area, we are not in the extremes, good, bad, friend, enemy. Nothing like that exists. When you are living in a neutral point of view, this is yoga. There you enter in yoga. And if you live the yoga like this, your practice will be samadhi. But you must to get to this. When you think that somebody is against you or somebody is in favor of you, is helping you, this is attachment. So neither sides are good for you. Everything is neutral. This is the perfect point of view, to be neutral. I am no friend, I am no enemy. I am no enemy of no one. I am no friend of no one. I just help in order that in as much as I can to all Kali Jivas, because we're in Kali Yuga, but that's all. And to stay in a neutral point of view. When something very good happens, it's okay. Thanks Krishna for this. When something very bad happens, thanks Krishna for this lesson. And if there is a nonsense in somehow that we say, why, for what is this? Still, this is a big blessing from Bhagavan. Why? Because it is showing us that this world is like this material world, Murloka, the land of death. What do you expect from here more than suffering? Don't expect nothing. Truly, nothing. Expect nothing. And find peace and happiness on that state of consciousness. Enjoy peace and happiness on that state of consciousness, supreme state of consciousness of neutrality. Nobody's my friend, nobody's my enemy. Everybody's doing what they have to do, or everybody is being driven by the material force. So why you concerned about good, bad, friend, not friend, family, no family, India, America, whatever, does not matter, because everything is a material creation. This illusion is temporary, and we cannot live there forever, and has nothing to do with the forever concept. Eternality, eternal. So we move further. 250. One who prudently practices the science of work without attachment can get rid of both good and bad reactions in this life itself. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of working skillfully in full consciousness. I never get tired of reading and thinking on Bhagavad Gita. It's possible that if you are watching this live, you are expecting that I will give a class of Bhagavad Gita, like reading some verse and giving you a full class. But no, actually, I am studying Bhagavad Gita here, and I have this live stream on, but I am studying the Bhagavad Gita and trying to find more there. Having over 20 years of looking the Bhagavad Gita in the same way, and every single time I feel amazed. My mind blown away by the incredible words of Krishna and the wonderful questions of Arjuna. What a beautiful text we have, really. What a beautiful text we have. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Arjuna, Jai Arjuna, Jai Arjuna. Sri Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. 251. The wise endowed with equanimity of intellect abandon attachment to the fruits of actions, which bind one to the cycle of life and death. By working in such consciousness, they attain the state beyond all suffering. '52. When your intellect crosses the quagmire of delusion, you will then acquire indifference to what has been heard and what is yet to be heard. '53. When your intellect ceases to be allured by the fruitive section of the Vedas and remains steadfast in divine consciousness, you will then attain the state of perfection. 54. Arjuna said, O Keshav, what is the disposition of one who is situated in divine consciousness? How does an enlightened person talk? How does he sit? How does he walk? In terms of this verse, especially 54 of chapter 2, I have an open question that I would like to do in order to get some answer from you. And is the enlightened person, how does an enlightened person talk, walk, how he sit? My question is, the enlightenment or the enlightened person is 24/7 enlightened person? Or to keep enlightened is a work that we must do constantly, steady? Are some times when enlightened persons are not enlightened? Is there a time when they are not enlightened, but normally they are enlightened, but sometimes they cannot be enlightened? To say, I visit a guru, just some story, just to explain something. This is fictional story. But I visit a guru who's supposed to know everything about everything. All right? Shastriya Guru. But when I spoke with him, I see that he don't know about everything. And I realized that many of the things that he is speaking are speaking for his own benefit. So on that very moment, I realized that this guru, enlightened guru, is not that enlightened. So on that point of view, it makes me think, based on my experience, seeing and meeting so many sadhus, I open the question that an enlightened person is 24/7 enlightened, or there are moments that is not that brilliant, let's say. Do you understand the question? What is your vision in terms of this? I would like to hear your opinion also. Let's continue. So Arjuna is asking how an enlightened person talk, sit, and walk in order to be able of recognize somebody who is in such a state of consciousness. Will be great to know, right? When we're right in front of somebody like this, to know, to be able to behave also in the right way, to ask, inquire intelligent questions. 255. The Supreme Lord, Krishna, said, O Parth, when one discards all selfish desire and craving of the senses that torment the mind and becomes satisfied in the realization of the self, such a person is said to be transcendentally situated. Okay, this is the main point and is the most important here for us. Because regarding to the question I just made, that is a valid question, anybody should be doing this question in themselves in order to not fall in some religious trap, sect, cult. We must really think, how is enlightened person talk? Arjuna is doing the question, so the question is good and the question is valid. And Arjuna say also, Krishna replied to him, When one discards all selfish desire and craving of the senses that torment the mind, and becomes satisfied in the realization of the self, such a person is said to be transcendentally situated. Discard of all selfish desire and cravings of the mind. Selfish desire means working for my benefit. It means that if somebody takes Shastra or the information and twist to his own or her own benefit, then it's not a transcendental mind, not transcendentally situated Atman. It's still struggling with Mahamaya. So how such a person can truly be called a guru? I don't think that is correct. Cannot be enlightened if is acting out of selfish desire and the cravings of the sense. Cannot be. The truth is truth, liking or not liking it is truth, and I have to accept the truth as the truth is. I cannot be twisting or mixing or painting the things on top in order to make tattva fit into my idea. This is not transcendental. 56. One whose mind remains undisturbed amidst misery, who does not crave for pleasure, and who is free from attachment, fear, anger, and is called a sage of a steady wisdom. So what to speak of showing fear or anger? This is absolutely against of a sage of a steady wisdom. 57. One who remains unattached under all conditions and is neither delighted by good fortune nor dejected by tribulation, he is a sage. He is a sage with perfect knowledge. Right? Right. Very right. Very good. 58. One who is able to withdraw the senses for their objects, just as a tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shell, it established in divine wisdom. 59. Aspirants may restrain the senses from their objects of enjoyment, but the taste of the sense objects remains. However, even this taste ceases for those who realize the Supreme. Here we have one of the first steps on self-realization, the Supreme realization. That is, as the tortoise, you restrain your senses from the objects of the world, but you cannot be forever just neglecting what is outside. Indeed, it should not affect you. This is the real stage. Not to create a neurosis, detachment from the things, where if it's a beautiful lady, will create so much problem that I will put names over here. Why you dress like this? You are a prostitute and this and that. All these things everybody have seen, right? Why they are eating this? What they are eating this? It's because in this neurosis that beginner practitioners are showing by speaking bad on others, by attacking, is showing that they still on that level. They still having the desire for that beautiful lady who they are calling names. They dress like this, they look like this. They are attachments. So the point is truly to not be attached to it. Means if it's there, I don't care. Why? Because I am fully concentrated on what is my main point, the most important thing. I'm not attached about what the other people is doing or not. Similarly, in some of my latest videos, I have been spoken about so many topics related to Mahamantra, to Shastra, and this and that. Not all, but mainly new students, let's say, they feel attacked, or even they can attack me because of revealing some things from Shastra. Like if I am creating the Shastra, no, the Shastra is there, I'm just translating and telling what does it mean. So in this way, it's extremely important from my side also. I will speak in a proper video about this, but now I can comment. I am not doing attack on anyone. I don't hate anyone. Even if I have saying some things in terms of Shastra and the sadhana practice, I don't care what other people do. I don't care what other people do, honestly. I don't care. If they chant Mahamantra Kirtan, okay. Keep doing, let's see results. If they do Japa Mahamantra, sadhana, deep bhajan, okay, let's see what the results. Whoever is well known that the personal private sadhana, bhajan, Sankirtan is most powerful, and when we do in japa, it multiplies per 10. So there is not such a thing as a hatred or anything. To speak the truth. Because if I have hatred or I have fanatism or any ism, I will be under the material nature. Good, bad, friends, enemies, etc. I don't have friends and I don't have enemies. Everything that is around is Brahman, is God himself. Every lila of every soul is unique and personal. And everything good or bad that is happening in my life, I recognize as God. Because He is helping me to get out of here. And how He will help me if He don't put all these things that I can recognize by myself. 60. The senses are so strong and turbulent, O son of Kunti, that they can forcibly carry away the mind even of a person endowed with discrimination who practice self-control. Right. 61. They are established in perfect knowledge, who subdue their senses and keep their minds ever absorbed in me. 62. While contemplating on the objects of the senses, one develops attachment to them. Attachment leads to desire, and from desire arises anger. So we can do we can invert this verse in order to realize what is anger, why people is so angry outside. Everywhere people is angry. Have you noticed that? Everywhere people is in a rage and is in anger. Why? So we can take Bhagavad Gita 2.62 and put it upside down in verse. Because sutras, perfect knowledge works like this. You read to one side and you read upside down, and it gives you same or more information about the same they are explained. So we put it upside down. Anger is connected to your desire. Anger arises from the desires. And the desires lead to attachments. The attachment to them, objects of the sense, while contemplating. So while contemplating, we develop attachment arise desires, and the desires create anger. That's why people is so angry everywhere. Not just because they drink coffee, but also because they have desires that are not fulfilled, and these not fulfilled desires create anger. So in order to get rid of the anger, we must to clean up ourselves from desires. Material desire, because desire is good, it's called lova. But this is a spiritual desire. We must to switch our material desire that will never be fulfilled. Why? Not because of money. It's because the desire are always changing. Just see the story of big Hollywood actors, just to say something. Super good looking boys. Incredible. They look like demigods. They have all the ladies they want. And later on, they turn to the other side. Now they want all the boys possible. Why is happening? Because the desire always changing, because desire are material. So they will want all the girls, all the boys, and then they want animals. Because this is how desire are working. You are going down, deep down, deep down, deep down in all the trash until you start eating the circle, the trash itself. And even that, you will have desire for something else. And it's always changing. It has no sense, really. Get out of my life, stupid desires. I would like to have desire only for Krishna. Today I am worshipping the Bhagavad Gita and the holy knowledge of Bhagavad Gita with my atomic intelligence. What I am doing, if I can have a bow, all my desires should go out right now. I don't want them. Only desire I want is the service of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. This I want. Through the correct process, of course. Gurudev, Nitai Gaur, Radheshyam. Vaya Nitai Gaur, Radheshyam. Process. Japa Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. 63. Anger leads to clouding of judgment, which result in bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed. And when the intellect is destroyed, one is ruined. Krishna, everything is so difficult, right? You must be so focused in everything. So focused in everything. Actually, the only way is through Kripa. To have Kripa, we work hard. We show to Krishna that we want, have determination. But through Kripa, we can conquer all the enemies. That's why Arjuna say here in the chapter 2, O conqueror of the enemies, destroyer of the enemies. Destroy the enemies in my heart, Krishna. '63. Anger leads to clouding the judgment, which result in bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed. And when the intellect is destroyed, one is ruined. Bhagavad Gita 2.64. But one who controls the mind and is free from attachment and aversion, even while using the objects of the senses, attains the grace of God. Jai Ho. 65. By divine grace comes the peace in which all sorrows end. And the intellect of such a person of tranquil mind soon becomes firmly established in God. Jai Ho. 66. But an undisciplined person who has no control of the mind and senses can neither have a resolute intellect nor steady contemplation on God. For one who never unites the mind with God, there is no peace. And how can one who lacks of peace be happy? No chance. Here, very interesting. No controlled mind and sense can never have a resolute intellect, so no intelligence, no steady contemplation, so no bhajan. The mind needs discipline. You need to follow proper process of discipline in order to achieve perfection. Otherwise, Siddh will never come. And for Bhakti Yogis, for Gaudiyas, what is Siddh? Siddha is to achieve love for God, Prem. And through Prem, our Bhav manifests and we can truly serve. Under that, nothing. So control the mind only is the way. Undisciplined person, you must to create a discipline. And this discipline is through a process. And this is process that have been shown by all acharyas. They work in a process. They're not showing Raganuga from zero. They do a process. All of them, they do a process of controlling the mind. Then contemplation, steady intelligence is there. Steady contemplation is there. So we can unite in love with God. 67. Just as a strong wind sweeps a boat off its charter course on the water, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can lead to intellect strays. 68. Therefore, one who has restrained the senses from their objects, O mighty arm Arjuna, is firmly established in transcendental knowledge. 68. Here is also interesting to comment. There is, Krishna is explaining to restrain the senses, but there will be a time that the senses cannot be restrained anymore. So what to do in that moment? What a yogi do when the senses are totally out of control? But if you lose the sense, how you control the sense? There is no chance. So we have a big help here, Gaudiyas, due to the kripa of Nitai Gaura and the associates, Nityasiddhas. We have a very big gift. That is the Harinam, holy name. And Harinam means name of God. So you can take shelter in this kind of scenarios. You take shelter 108% in the Harinam, holy name. Such a Krishna, Ram, Hare Hara. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Matanam Mohan Govinda Jay Jay Gopala Jay Jay Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jay Jay Radha Raman Raman Radha Raman. You can take shelter in any name as best fit for you, because this is a love story between you and Radha Krishna. Or you can chant the mantra that your guru have been giving to you, the prescription of the doctor. Could be Mahamantra, for other Vaishnavas is different mantra. Or to take shelter on kirtans, different kirtans. There are several kirtans by Narottam Das Thakur. They are all wonderful. They are all chanting the Harinam, the name of God. No chanting Hare Krishna is the name of God, Harinam. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You can take as a mantra and chant in japa, take shelter in japa mantra. If for ABC circumstance you are far from your japamala, because this also happened, there are some sadhus that they are not walking with the japamala. There are some sadhus they are not taking the japamala everywhere like is some kind of souvenir that you're walking with. But the japamala is always in their bhajan kutir or in the area of worshipping. So in this case, you have the hand, and you can chant by hand, by your hand also. So there is no excuse, and we are always under protection. This is very great news, isn't it? I think so. So how you chant if you don't have the japamala with you, but you want to do it in the correct way? So counting, you chant with your hands. Every division here in your hand is one count, is one repetition. You can do like that, and you do in the right way, just as Sri Gauranga did, counting. Mahamantra, counting, always counting. 69. What all beings consider as day is the night of ignorance for the wise. And what all creatures see as night is the day for the introspective sage. 70. Just as the ocean remains undisturbed by the incessant flow of waters from rivers merging into it, likewise the sage who is unmoved despite the flow of desirable objects all around him attains peace, and not the person who strives to satisfy desire. This is somehow like inverse psychology. The most you want something, the less you get. Materialistic mind, the most they want happiness, the less they get. The sage, in virtue of the perfect knowledge, don't want anything and get everything, because it's situated in the real transcendental platform. Yes or no? '71. That person who gives up all material desires and lives free from a sense of greed, proprietorship, and egoism attains perfect peace. Again, person who gives up all material desire attains perfect peace. Free from sense of greed, attain perfect peace. Free from proprietorship, this is mine, attain perfect peace. 72. O part, such is the state of an enlightened soul that having attained it is never again deluded. Oh, Krishna is being very specific here. The one who attained it is never again deluded. So when you get this state of consciousness, you will not get back. So this is also supporting what I said earlier, that if some so-called enlightened you see acting bad, it's not because he's having some small time of being in darkness. No, it's just that because it's not enlightened yet. So the one who is enlightened will never get back, never get in darkness again. Krishna said, being established in the conscious ever at the hour of death, even at the hour of death, one who is liberated from the cycle of life and death and reaches the supreme abode of God. Reach the supreme abode of God. Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Jai Ho. This is chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and we will study the chapter 3 or the next chapter in the next live. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.